Hi.
My name is Samuel Savory.
And I'm Hercules Mulligan!
And we're Two Kids on a Couch.
So, apparently, when you title a video Hamilton, people expect you to talk about Hamilton.
We maybe should have seen that coming.
Yeah. So, and what some of our viewers have called a cheap shot.
Their words, not ours.
Yeah. This is our actual Hamilton video.
In case you've been living on a rock and you don't know what Hamilton is,
Yeah.
it's the new rock opera by Lin-Manuel Miranda, telling the story of Alexander Hamilton, the founding father without a father.
Not to sound too hipster here, we've known about Hamilton for a while. It was brought to our attention around last year at Tony season. That's when it had its run at the Public Theater, and that's when video clips were being released and stuff. And I'll admit that when I first heard about it, I 100% thought it was a joke.
But I didn't think I was gonna like it at all.
The only clip they ever showed was "I'm not throwing away my shot," and they would just repeat it over and over again. And we're like, is this I think this is just a thing that Lynch needed to get some creative juices out so we could go back to working on real stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not what it was. It's a very real thing that took him a lot of time and is very impressive.
It is. It's a behemoth of a show. It's probably close to 3 hours.
Oh gosh, it's so long.
And it's sung through.
It's like Les Mis long. It's longer than Les Mis. It's so
very,
long.
very long. Spoiler alert. Despite our initial reactions, it's very good.
Yeah. We both, I think, have gone through phases in Hamilton. My phase was, this is stupid. And then, yeah, this looks okay. And then, you know what? Yeah, I could be into this. And then, meh. Now other people know about it.
I followed the same track, but
higher
I hit the
highs.
extreme. So
Yeah.
I'm like, this is stupid. And then they released the soundtrack on NPR, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever! Let me tell people about it. And then people heard about it, and I'm like, isn't it the best thing ever? And they're like, yeah. And then I'm like, but there's other things too. And they're like, Hamilton!
Hamilton! And it's so exciting to see people get so excited. That's amazing.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a teacher, and she has an entire semester planned around teaching people Hamilton. I think it's in her English class, technically. But, you can learn history from this. You can learn theater from this. You can learn...
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of musicality to be learned.
Yeah, and Lin is a guy who, especially Sam, we love.
I love Lin.
As a person. He's a beautiful soul.
He's the Broadway fan who made it.
Yeah,
and we love that.
And I think you said it best when you said, Rent, when it came out, was huge for its time. It was so inventive, it was so revolutionary. But Jonathan Larson died, on opening night. And so we never got to see what else he would have come up with. And when In the Heights came out, it was similarly revolutionary in its time. And so now that Lin didn't die on opening night, we're kind of getting to see what would happen if we had gotten a second Rent. And we like the show, but it's weird to have the biggest thing happening ever on Broadway and to just be so apathetic towards it.
I felt very similar when Book of Mormon came out. I don't know if you guys watched the 2011 Tony Awards, but it got so boring. It's and this award goes to Book of Mormon.
What a shock.
We're so surprised.
Yeah.
Book of Mormon, So you can't stop caring. Right, yeah. So in the same way, and I love it when these musicals become mega hits and bring more people to the theater. We just, I think, get impatient and want them to say, now that you know you love musical theater, come look at the rest of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, but Hamilton.
Yeah, and especially because, Fun Home was a show that I really like, and I feel like its reign of glory was kind of cut short because, just kidding, Hamilton. And, Tuck Everlasting is coming out, and that's a show we love, but we know that no one's going to care.
No one's going to care. It's a tough year to be coming out with a new show when you have to go up against Hamilton.
It is.
Well, let's talk about major pros and cons of Hamilton.
Major pros and cons of Hamilton.
We'll start with the writing.
Major pro.
I've heard a lot of people compare his writing to Shakespeare, and I'm so behind it. I think he has the depth that Shakespeare had. You could take a class and some certain high schoolers in Central Alabama are taking a class and analyzing the individual lyrics because he says so much.
It would probably take them their whole high school career.
I expect within the next couple of years we will see a graduate thesis on Hamilton.
Probably.
There's so much depth in there. It's why he spent so long writing it. And so as far as literature, it is brilliantly written. It's done some really interesting things. I don't even want to call it colorblind casting.
It was color deliberate casting.
It was deliberately putting people of color in these roles, and it was so cool.
Which is great.
Their tagline was, America then as told by America now.
Oh, that's a great tagline.
So it's using like the hip hop style and like the melting pot of faces that we have now to tell the story of
a bunch of old boring white guys back then.
Right. And you get to see some interesting things when Thomas Jefferson, who had slaves, is played by a black guy. You think about it differently. You relate to it differently.
Another pro of Hamilton is that it's reaching so many people. It exploded. It blew up. It's in the Grammys. It's
in the White House.
It's in schools. It's in the UN He for She campaign. Like, it's everywhere.
Yeah. It does an interesting job of teaching history. I haven't looked up to see how much of it is accurate, but I know a lot of it is.
A lot of it's probably
It was
accurate.
based off of biography. Like, they tried to say. And I love it when musicals teach me things so I don't have to learn them somewhere else. To be honest, it's hard to think of cons for Hamilton.
It is. Whenever someone writes a piece to star in themselves, I like immediately get kind of defensive, like, whoa, man, calm down. But he also did that for In the Heights, and I'm sure when he comes out with the next one, he'll probably star in that too, which, I don't know. It mildly irritates me, but it isn't like a big deal.
I don't know if it even counts as a con. I think there are certain reasons it doesn't appeal to us.
Yeah.
It's not our style of music. It's not a show we could conceivably be cast in, because we're so white.
Unless I'm Hercules.
Then that would obviously work. So we realize that we're not the target audience.
Right. One negative pro is that I feel like it almost tried to say too much instead of just necessarily focusing on Hamilton in this area or trying to teach this lesson or that moral. They tried to do everything. And so
It can wear you out.
yeah, and like, I mean, when you're in Hamilton and so much content is being like shoved at you, you feel like you're obliged to absorb it, especially because like, it's Hamilton, like, oh my gosh, I have to think that this is amazing. And like tickets, like, if you're fortunate enough to get to see Hamilton, that's gotta be so stressful for you. Because like, oh my gosh, I only have one shot and I have to get all this information, I have to know everything's great.
You can't throw away your shot.
You can't throw away your shot. And I feel like gosh, it's stressful. Like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. So, in closing, I suppose, Hamilton is great. If you haven't listened to Hamilton, if you're not aware of it, I would recommend you go check it out.
Yeah.
There's some really good songs. They have some really good messages. And it's not going away anytime soon. It'll be running for a long time.
A long time.
It'll be a cultural staple. In the same way people talk about Rent, they're going to talk about Hamilton. So, learn it.
If you like it, that's great. And we encourage you very strongly to check out other shows. If you need suggestions, we have some.
We got you.
But another thing is, if you don't love it, don't feel like you're no longer a part of the movement.
Absolutely.
We don't love Hamilton.
Right, and that's okay. That's how it ought to be.
Yeah.
I know people who hate Phantom. I know people who hated Rent.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we hate Okay, everyone hates Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
Bad example. But no.
I hate Jersey Boys. Jersey Boys is one of the most popular musicals ever.
Grease? What's up with that?
Right, so...
subscribers just falling away.
So if Hamilton's not for you, you're still valuable.
You're still valuable.
You still get to call yourself a Broadway nerd.
You do. Almost even more so now, because now you're a Broadway hipster. Because you don't like us too mainstream.
And I definitely don't think we should be like, Hamilton is the end. We've peaked, now there's no place else to go. There's so much more out there. Keep your eyes open for the Tuck Everlastings and for, everything that's to come.
Yeah.
Because new art is still being made, and we need to give it its due credit. Thank you for watching. Leave your own thoughts about Hamilton below.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
And stay tuned because Tony season is swiftly coming upon us.
That's right.
And we are going about our coverage in a new and exciting way that you won't want to miss.
That's right. So make sure you tune in.
Bye, guys.
How did we know that this plan would work? We had a spy on the inside. That's right, Hercules Mulligan!
I take the spy on the British government, I take the measurements information, and then I smuggle it to my brother's revolutionary covenant. I'm running with the Sons of Liberty, and I am loving it. Since it happens when you're up against the ruffians, we in the pit now, somebody gotta shovel it. Hercules Mulligan, I need no introduction. When you knock me down, I get the freak.
Let's go!